Alright, what's up guys? This is the Movie Music Maintenance 75. This is probably going to be the first video for YouTube that I've done in probably 6, 7, could have been 10 years. I honestly can't remember when the last time I made a video for my prior channels. Anyway, I've been watching the Blue Limit Soldiers channel for a while now, and they've got their videos, 3 of them have their videos up right now for the top 10 movies that they're most thankful for. And I thought it was a pretty neat idea. So they were asking people in the community to go ahead and make their own, and I figured, why not? I hadn't made a video in a while, and I figured this one would be kind of cool to do. Anyway, I put a pic up on Instagram, on my Instagram page yesterday. That was a pretty decent sized stack, and throughout the night I kind of whittled it down to I think 11 movies. But I've got two honorable mentions on this list. So yeah, let's just get on with those first. First up would be The Sandlot. You know, great film, and I mean, I love baseball, big St. Louis Cardinals fan, but I can just, you know, talking baseball with friends, and you know, this movie's like really quotable. So Sandlot for one honorable mention, and the next one would be Clerks, Kevin Smith's Clerks. Main reason for this is most of my life, Clerks, that's me. So yeah, I can get kind of the humor in this movie, but it's one of those films that I can just quote over and over and over, probably about 37 times. 37. Okay, now on to the 11 films that I've got here. First 2 are from my childhood. I can remember renting these many times at the video store in Louisiana, where I used to live. My dad worked for the railroad, so I've lived in 3 different states in my life. The second being Louisiana. Lived there during my childhood. First up, we got Rad here. Now this is a bootleg DVD. That's how bad this is. Well, the movie's not that bad. I mean, I enjoy this. It's 80s BMX classic film. Stars a very young Lori Loughlin from Full House, Aunt Becky. But I can't say enough about this. I put something on the Instagram a couple days ago about Shout Factory trying to pick this title up, but yeah, in the 80s, you know, I always liked to ride bikes. I always worked jumping dirt hills, and there's something about this. If you can find it on YouTube or anywhere to watch, I'd recommend it. It's awesome. And all I gotta say is Hell Track in the slide in that movie, the water slide in this movie that goes into like the lake, or awesome. So yeah, Rad. Next one that I always remember renting, and this movie is really quotable. It's probably the thing that got me into horror movies. No, it's not Halloween, it's not Friday the 13th, it's not Nightmare on Elm Street. So this is putting some age on to me, but that would be The Monster Squad. I remember renting this frequently from that video store, and I do mean frequently. You know, this is just like one of my all-time favorite movies. If I'd ever come back to YouTube and put like a top 10 list of my favorite films, this would definitely be in the top 5. Because, you know, I love, you know, Monster Squad. Wolfman's Got Nards. Creature Stole My Twinkie. You know, I can't get over this. Yeah, so Monster Squad. Up next, another film of my youth, and once again, at Video Store. I probably rented this forever and ever and ever and ever, and it could not go on my top, on my list of movies I'm most thankful for, and that is The Goonies. You know, what can you say about this one? You know, we've all had a crew of friends that we just hung out with, went on wacky adventures with when we were kids, and, you know, this film right here, you know, it lets you escape. So, yeah, The Goonies. Next one is another childhood favorite of mine, and it's probably one of the films, and one of the reasons. Now, I don't do martial arts anymore. When I lived in Baton Rouge, I took Taekwondo, and this was really the catalyst for that. You know, I was bullied a little bit when I was younger, and, you know, so my parents put me in Taekwondo. But the film I'm talking about is The Karate Kid. I love the heck out of this movie. What can you know, I've always liked this film. This one and the second one, really, I should put on this list, but, you know, I practiced the crane technique quite a bit growing up. Can't really still do it, but, yeah, The Karate Kid, so that would be the next one. Up after that, probably the first film that I can pretty much remember seeing in the theaters, and that would be Return of the Jedi. I don't know if you're going to see that from the glare, but I can vividly remember seeing that movie. I remember parts of seeing Empire in theaters, but, you know, I really remember Return of the Jedi as being the first film that I ever saw in theaters, or one of the first films that I could remember, and just the excitement of being in that theater and the beginning credits strolling down, and just that excitement that you felt as I was a kid. But yeah, so Return of the Jedi. Up next is a film that I've had on DVD for a very long time, and it finally came out on Blu-ray this year. It's another martial arts movie that I loved. I can't really remember when I first watched this. I keep thinking of that Video Store in Baton Rouge that was across from my neighborhood. I basically have to go through two sections of traffic to get to this thing. Anyway, but it's just, I love this film, and it was Karate Kid and this film were really my introductions into martial arts, and that would be American Ninja. You know, and this is what got me more into martial arts, is American Ninja. But, you know, 80s classic once again. You know, it's kind of, some people don't know about this, some people do. But I've always loved this film, and I'm glad they put it out on Blu-ray. But I can always remember renting this film, and just what joy it gave me as a kid. Yeah. So, all right. Up next is a series of films. Now, I just kind of brought these together, and I can remember as a family, normally that would be me, my mom, and my dad, and my mom and dad have passed on. My mom died in 2010, my dad died in 2011, and I can just remember watching this series of films with them. Now, I was brought up in a very religious family, and not that these films are any way tied to that, but they had that kind of, I'm going with the Indiana Jones. This is the Complete Adventure, so it does have Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, but I'm talking about Raiders of the Lost Ark, Temple of Doom, and, of course, The Last Crusade. So, Raiders of the Lost Ark, you're dealing with the Ark of the Covenant. The Last Crusade, you're dealing with the Cup of Christ. Basically. So, anyway, so I can just kind of remember vividly, we had the VHSs of all three of these films, and just always watching those with my parents. And to be honest, Raiders, the scene where the face melting scene, was one of the scariest things to this day. That it always freaks me out when it comes to that scene. It doesn't freak me out as much as it used to, but as a kid, just that vivid that vivid image of that one ghost that is all majestic and then just turns evil, and then the face melting scene comes on in Raiders. That just gets me to this day. So. Yeah, so basically the first three Indiana Jones films. Okay, the next ones. The next set of films that I'm going to talk to you guys about in the movies that I'm most thankful for, would be the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Reason why I'm most thankful for these is I spent a good amount of time watching these with my brother, who passed away in 2013 of cancer. Wow. I'd take these over to his house, and we'd watch them, and he'd tell stories of reading the books to me, and so these bold hold a very special place in my heart. I enjoy these films anyway, but just the hours spent with me and him watching these three, and I had bought, I think, one of them in 3D for him one Christmas, and watching that stuff and just the enjoyment that he got, but they'll always hold a special place in my heart. And then this film right here, I come from a family with kind of a musical backgrounds that due to church. My parents were always in the church choir. I was in the church choir for a little bit of time, sang in church. I also was in choir in high school. But I always remember this, and this is a musical. This is probably the first musical that I remember watching. My parents had the VHS of it, and when I found it on Blu-ray, I had to get it because it just reminds me of sitting back watching this with my parents, mainly my mom, and it's one of mine and my mom's favorite things to watch together, and that's The Music Man. Meredith Willson's The Music Man. It stars Robert Preston, Shirley Jones. It's basically about a traveling salesman that's selling band instruments to basically door-to-door salesman, but things, he's basically a con man, is basically what it is. But I always remember watching this, and with my mom not being around anymore, I pop this in probably every year and watch it, and always remember watching it with her. But yeah, that's The Music Man. Up next is probably my favorite John Wayne movie, and it was actually and I really remember it as being the last film that I watched with my dad. My dad pretty much died a year after my mom, and I just watched it, I think last month. I watched it, or it might have been in the beginning of this month, but I watch it probably once a year, and that is John Wayne and the Cowboys. This one, terrific film. I mean, you can't go wrong with any film that the John Wayne, the Duke, has. This is a triple feature with Green Berets and The Searchers, which are two great films. But yeah, I think it was my dad wanted to watch a movie, and I kind of asked him what he wanted to watch. He was like, pick something, and I just remember well, what about the Cowboys? And he's like, yeah, that sounds like a good one. So yeah, I can I can really remember watching that with him. Okay, and the last one. This kind of goes along the lines with Lord of the Rings and watching those films with my brother. And, my brother was immersed in the Lord of the Rings films, and he loved the Hobbit story. He loved all those stories, and he was excited for the Hobbit movies to come out. But it's the last film that I remember watching with my brother of this series. Unfortunately, he didn't get to see the last two of them, and that is The Hobbit and An Unexpected Journey. This is once again great film. I know some people are kind of half and half whether they like Lord of the Rings or the Hobbit trilogy. I like them all, but I can really remember him watching this with me, and this, like I said, this was the last film that I remember watching with him, because literally, I can't remember if this came out, if the Blu-ray came out in 2013, but I do remember watching it with him. But he died in 2013. So yeah, this was like the last film I watched with him, and man, whew, these videos are tough to make. But yeah, I mean, what can you say about this one? It'll always hold a special place in my heart. So, The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey. So yeah, that's the list of the movies that I'm thankful for. I'm sorry if I was kind of here and there and everywhere. It's been a while for me to make a video on YouTube. Honestly, I didn't know if I was going to do this or not. So yeah. So I guess I'll end it there. If you want to follow me on Instagram, the movie music, or I think it's just Movie Music Man 75 on Instagram. If you want to follow me there. Whether I post another YouTube video, I don't know right now. But I wanted to get this out there. So thanks to the Blue Limit Soldiers for coming up with this idea. I think it's a great idea. To the visual expression, to WrestleManiac 1130, Blu-ray Outlaw, and Friday the 14th. Thank you all for just inspiring me to make another video. So if this is the only video I make for the rest of the year, I'm happy with it. Thanks, guys.